So this video is going to be more about surface techniques. This one is on Mishima, and it's a Japanese technique, and it simply just means inlay of color. So it's a bit opposite from the sgraffito technique, where the sgraffito technique you saw was carving, scratching into the clay to reveal a layer of clay beneath. And this is a technique where you inlay color. So it's embedding color as opposed to revealing one underneath. And so for demo purposes, I took the same floral, you can see underneath the same floral thing design that I used for the sgraffito, and except for I did it reverse. So I carved into, this was the bare clay color. I carved this design into, traced into the clay using just the needle tool. Went around and just drew and drew that design, that pattern onto the clay surface. And then you can see this red color is the red slip, the iron oxide slip that I previously used. And I just took a brush, same brush that I demonstrated with before, and I used the slip and I really just kind of thickly applied, not thickly, but I did use many coats. And I did that ahead of time just because otherwise it would take too long to dry. But I did have this on here. It's a very humid day, so it did take longer than it would if it wasn't so humid. But I was able to layer up the color with enough coats so that you can see how the Mishima technique is done. So you let the slip, whatever color you have on there, dry completely. Again, you don't want it to be tacky to the touch, otherwise it will it'll pull off too much. So the idea is you're trying to, wherever you carved and drew those lines with whatever pattern you're trying to get into the clay, you're scraping away to have that stay and embed into that crease. So you want to use this metal rib, works best. It's a metal flexible rib that comes in your toolkit. And this is a great tool because it is so bendable and flexible that you can use it to scrape away the slip to reveal that line and to keep the color embedded. So I'm going to just show you how that's done. And I'm lightly scraping. You can see the slip is coming up on, staying on the rib. And then again, here's something to point out. You have your, bucket, container of some sort to keep nearby so that all those, the slip that you pull up, the dried slip, doesn't fall onto the floor or doesn't get all over the table. You can work in a way that's very conscious of the dust that could accumulate while you're working on this. And so again, I'm just scraping that and having a container by bowl to just put that right in there. And do be careful, these metal ribs, if you do slide your hand a certain way, I have cut my hands on them. Just be careful of how you do, when you want to get those little bits and pieces off the tool, just be careful of how fast you slide up because it can cut into your hand. It's not really sharp by no means, it's just something to be aware of. And so you can see that by my scraping with the metal rib, you can see these, the slip is coming off now in the messy way that I applied it, but it's staying in that line that I created with the carving. And even the scraping of the rib can sometimes create a really nice effect on the piece. Like I really love this, right? You can see that, just that accent and that line that stays there. You might want to play with that, for example, instead of wiping that completely off, you might want to work with it as a different, just kind of layer and texture. Maybe you would take your sponge and it's wring it out as much as possible. And then I'm thinking about just maybe I would clean up the outside edges. Because as I look at that, it's really beautiful. It's just kind of an extra kind of swipe of color. So I'm thinking, keeping that there, right? And then I'll just show you, still just kind of scrape away to keep that line inlay there. The biggest thing to remember with this Mishima technique is to really, it's very important that you let the color of slip that you, whatever slip you use over top of it. The most common mistake I see students make is not being patient enough, where they'll want to force it, or maybe they're pressed with time and they go back and they do the scraping too soon. And then what can happen is it literally lifts. It doesn't stay in the line that you made. It doesn't stay in that crease, and you can literally wipe away the whole amount of slip that you applied, which can be quite frustrating. If that happens, just keep that in mind, that definitely when you try it again, make sure it's completely dry. Can't stress that enough, because that's a common problem that can arise if you don't let it dry completely. I'm using the rounded part, but you could certainly try the flat edge, which you can get a little bit more of a scrape, I should say. Not necessarily, it just depends how you use the tools. And don't forget your sponge, you can also just kind of wipe away some of the excess too. And again, I really like using the sponge because it leaves like it takes it away, but it leaves a little bit of a smear, which you might find interesting, or you might not. Just a little bit more. I'll finish up with this. And then potentially keep in mind, you could then carve something over top of this or to the side of this and use a different color to inlay another color. You could also get pretty detailed work, and depending on how you go about doing so. And then again, you have the slip color in here. So then say you were happy with this and you wanted to just keep it like so. Once it gets this fired, then you can apply glaze, and you can work with the color variations with the glaze over top of this, or you could just use a clear, and then it would just, you would still be able to see this color. When this clay slip is colored, it doesn't really look like this either. It becomes a much deeper like a rust color. But you can see this. So this is the Mishima inlay after you scrape away, and you can see it's a nice, beautiful colored embedded line. And I would keep that. Like, the reason that you could scrape away all of that, just like here, but I thought that could be a nice, fun little texture there. Just something to show you. You don't have to wipe it away completely. You find something that is interesting while you're working, especially on your cube, go for it. So the last thing I want to mention as far as the cubes go, you do not, we're not having it be a requirement that you fire the cubes. However, if you do find that you are really invested in your cube, you put a lot of time into it, you'd really like to have it fired to see the results come out of the kiln, to get a better understanding of what that looks like for future projects later on in the semester, I do believe we can fire it for you. So there are options, and we'll get to that at that point. But for the most, I think for most of you, you'll probably decide not to fire them. But if you were to fire this, I just want to bring it to your attention once more that you would need to have a hole in it, because you don't want the trapped air to cause any explosions in the kiln, as I previously mentioned when we were in the video that was all about constructing the cube. And the last thing I want to mention is, even if you add slip to clay like we did for all our sides, it's important to not have that. If you dry this out, you're finished with the exercise, you documented your work, you submitted it, your instructors have seen it, you may want to break it down and use this clay, which I would highly recommend, to reclaim. In that case, you would have to get rid of all the slip on all sides. And that could simply mean just taking a damp sponge, wringing it out, and just wiping away all the slip off the surface, right? Just taking it right back to the original clay color. Or if it's really dry and it's not coming off well with the sponge, you could take your metal rib again, and just like we did with the Mishima technique, you could just scrape, 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 and it could come off easily as well with that. And then you could just take a hammer to it. You could, just somehow break it down and then let it dry to your bone bits and pieces again, and then reclaim. But it's really important to note here that you do not want to reclaim it with the slip on the surface, because think about it, it's just like paint. You'll have those oxides of colorants in your clay, and then when you reclaim that, that's still going to be in your clay. So there'll be streaks of those colors throughout it, which is not ideal, right? If you really, it's not like plaster, it's not going to make it explode in the kiln, it's just going to have these colors in it that could be definitely not something that you're going for. So that's surface techniques, and there's a lot of possibilities to explore. I highly recommend giving them all a try and coming up with ideas of your own that are intriguing to you that you can use from here out for the rest of the semester.